venture into an ancient world, cruel and boundless. In the void, you build a shelter against the cold. But as your ambitions grow, so too does your appetite for the unknown. Ancient constructs lurking in the dark, woven into shadows once their own, plagued by remnants of algorithmic imperatives. There are others of your kin, all drawn to the power to remake this world. Towering structures take shape over barren worlds. A fragile attempt at cooperation. But the promise of wealth and violence will compel you into the abyss once more. You will wake and remain awake eternally.
Hey, what is going on, YGG community? Man, I hope you get hyped up. Nothing gets me excited early in the morning or early in the evening for our PH folks like a banging trailer, right? So if you guys didn't notice, we're going to have Eve Frontiers on here. This is like one of the biggest long-standing franchises in terms of MMOs. So if you haven't tuned in or you haven't given it a try, we've got two of our boys here from the Eve Frontiers team that are going to talk all about it. So let's bring on stage D-Gent and Joe Toon. What's up?
Hello, YGG community.
Hello, friends. It is we.
It's on.
Got him. Sorry, there's a fucking fly. We're good. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all well. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Man, you guys put together some bangers for trailers there.
Yeah, man, the cinematic scene just doesn't miss. This has kind of been an ongoing thing. CCP's always been very, very good about trailers. Anybody who's watched any of the old Eve trailers will know they really, really. They just cook. They absolutely cook.
100%. So, guys, just why don't you give an intro to the community on who you are and what you guys do at CCP?
Yeah, should I start?
Go ahead, please.
So, hi everyone. I am CCP D-Gent, and I'm a community developer for Frontier. I recently joined the company just 3-4 months ago. My background is from the Web3 space and kind of fell into the rabbit hole back in 2017, mining, and have been working full-time in the space since 2020. Had multiple roles, a founder, CEO of a startup, Web3 startup. And naturally, in the startup, you do a lot of things. But one of the things that I enjoyed most was interacting with the community and building communities. And that was also a service that we provided for the company that I started. So, but my work is focusing directly with players, and especially the Web3 crowd. The guilds, partners like YGG, and that's to make sure that we at Frontier that we don't just launch a game at the community. It's rather that we kind of build a game together with the community. So yeah, that's me.
Nice. It is in fact you. Hang on one second. Degent.
The degenerate gentleman.
I was gonna ask you if that's where it came from.
Fully intended. Yeah, fully intended for sure.
Yes. So,
Okay, cool. I'm CCP Jotun. I'm the other community developer for Frontier. I've been working at CCP for about a year and a half. I was hired on to kick off Frontier, and okay, cool, very nice, thank you. I am a longtime EVE Online player. I started playing EVE when I was fucking like 15, I think, in 2006, and have continued on to this day, to modern day, which is nuts. Actually, thinking back on it, it's wild how things turn out. But I mean, obviously, this is a lot of new spaces for me. This is obviously the EVE Online community I'm pretty familiar with, and I've spent a lot of time interacting with. I was part of the 10-person EVE Online player council for the last two, not this last year, but the 2 years before that. The CSM, I was on that before I hired on, and now I'm here. So my background is not nearly as exciting because I came from supply chain. But man, sure do love video games, and sometimes that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
100%, right? You gotta have a good mix within the team of really good corporate guys, and then obviously it's always good when
the people who just don't know how to shut the fuck up. Yes, that is the other cohort.
Yeah, exactly.
It works out that way.
Yeah. So you're a true dedicated like EVE, right in the trenches. You know this game inside out.
Yeah, man. I started, like I said, I've been playing EVE for a really, really long time. And the thing, I mean, the thing that EVE always, like the thing that always kind of drew me to it was not just, I mean, space games are great, but there are a lot of space games, you know what I mean? And there are a lot of MMOs and but like EVE was the kind of game early on where it really did feel like there was not a limit to the kind of things you could get up to if you wanted to, and you were very much just bound by your own imagination, and that has proven to be true for the most part. We were talking before the stream that Degent and I did just a few minutes ago about how EVE is like 30 games in a trench coat trying to get into the movies. You know what I mean? And Frontiers is much the same way. Frontier is maybe not quite 30 games in a trench coat, but it's many games in a trench coat trying to get into the movies. So we want to build games that don't just, that aren't restricted to a single play style or a single kind of gamer. You don't want to make a game that appeals to everybody, but you should make a game that, could appeal to a lot of people, especially if they're the kind of person who that like this kind of thing scratches the itch for them. And I think that's what we're trying to do. Why don't I take that back? I know this is what we're trying to do. I hope it is what we are going to do. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's always been one of the, I think, daunting things, but also amazing things about EVE is just how much content and how many things there are to do, right? Like the economy is ridiculous. The things you can do in the game are ridiculous. Like I know, you can mine, you can battle, like there's diplomacy, like there's no shortage of things to do. Now, on that note, before we like really dive into like psychos and a lot of the technical stuff, what do you guys prefer to do in game? Like, what's your thing? Are you like, you prefer battles? You prefer diplomacy? Like, what's your thing? Are you trader?
Well, I'm gonna go first this time.
Yeah, you go first, please.
Yeah, because you already found your role, and you have a black belt in EVE, so I don't. I just started playing the game in April when I started the company. But so far for me, building and mining, well, it depends. I like action, so I'm kind of the hunter. I like to go out and kill these NPCs, doing PvPs, but I also enjoy mining and building. So I'm a little bit of a mix, and naturally based upon my background from Web 3 space, and I've kind of done everything from mining to day trading. Trading will be a part of my daily EVE Frontier as well when that time comes. So
indeed, yeah. I mean, I to this day still play EVE pretty frequently, which is to say, basically every night, with some of my homies from back home. And I mean, we're a PvP corp through and through. I mean, we we routinely will look for fights with other groups, or just fights against big blingy targets that we know are expensive and we can kill them, and that is fun and cool. I'm big into like city builders in terms of other games. So like a lot of the base building aspects of Frontier kind of appeal to me personally. Factorio, Skylines, Satisfactory, like these are all the real like nitty gritty detail kind of. That's the good stuff. That really that scratches the itch. And Frontier is looking like we're going to have quite a bit of that. I've seen a lot of the design documents for the base building aspects that are hopefully going to be coming out here before too long. And yeah, that's going to be the good stuff. I'm really looking forward to that. So that is, PvP though, man, that's you and another dude in a back alley with a knife.
Yes.
That's the sauce, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many archetypes within the game. I mean, so it's a little bit what kind of drives you and kind of what you want to do yourself, So it's as Ben mentioned. I mean, it's almost like 20 games in the game, right?
Yeah. Players got options. You can, if you're not a PvP guy, you don't need to touch that stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you do not need to. It is nice to be able to, and that is kind of the appeal, right? Where like, and MMOs are kind of good about this just in general as a genre, but especially big sandboxes like this, right? You're putting people into a world and saying, okay, it's not just like, oh, we just need people who do this one kind of thing. Like the game doesn't work fundamentally from the bottom up if you don't have people who mine resources, and people who refine those resources, and people who manufacture things using those resources into goods and services that you can then sell to people who want to go out and do more mining, or go out and do hunting, or go out and do exploration. Like all of these things, like this is when we talk a lot about ecosystems and economies. Like none of that stuff is independent, right? They're all focused on, you have a huge system of interlocking parts, and not a single one of them can stand by itself. So that is kind of the joy of working on a project like this, is because you do get to interact with so many different people who play the game so many different ways, and can do so many different things. I mean, we have people who, in game right now, who all they do all day long is just mine. That's all they do. They really enjoy mining. They just do it all day long. But they're, then become part of, they have joined tribes or joined these groups where they fit into that group because they're the person who is supplying the group with resources. I mean, you think about it, like, Frontier is a survival game. At its heart is a survival game. And one of the benefits of that is that you can really kind of, compare the roles in game to like IRL, like hunter-gatherer stereotypes, right? Like if you don't want to be the person who goes out and like fucking hunts mastodons, you don't have to be. You don't have to be the person who defends the tribe from a neighboring tribe with sharp sticks. You don't have to do any of that if you don't want to. You can be the person who stays back home and provides food or builds houses or I don't know, fucking dams the river or whatever you do. You need to do. Like all of those things have value in those systems, because the system doesn't work without all of them. You can't just have just hunters. You can't have just builders. You have to have them both. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Exactly. Well, we are going to dive quite a bit into tribes, because that's a huge component of it. But before we get ahead of ourselves, maybe let's just talk about Eve's cycles and how that plays into everything.
Sure.
We'll start there, and then we'll work our way through, because there's, again, we're not going to get through everything in this. There's so much stuff, but let's get through all the basics that are going to set people up for success to get started. So let's talk about the cycles. Is there anything I can bring up on the website and show during this?
Missions hub, I guess. I mean, as you mentioned, so if you go to the website and you have the missions hub there, but as you mentioned, we run something that is called cycles, and these cycles are kind of short run 60-70 days cycle, where each cycle includes different quests, objectives, and that's kind of across three dimensions. In-game activities, both on the player level but also on guild level, if you like. And that's everything, from you explore, you fight, you build, but it's also a great tool to learn the game, to get those soft skills. There's also social engagement parts, community contribution, contents, And then you have the referral and onboarding part of it. So, in all these objectives, you will earn something that we call grace.
Mhm.
And at the end of each cycle, the game resets. Everything gets from scratch, right? And these grace then converts into something that is called EVE points, which are persistent throughout all the cycles. And these EVE points are then used for leaderboards and recognition, long-term reputations. And they will be persistent all the way up until we reach mainnet. So that is kind of the one compressed.
Yeah, I mean, the EVE points. We get a lot of questions about EVE points specifically because it is kind of vague, like what purpose do they serve currently. It's doing a couple things for us right now. We are able to obviously track and see what people are doing in game and what they like to do. If people always kind of do one mission or do a series of missions that are very similar, then we can say as developers, like, oh, this is the shit that people like. This is the things they like to do, right? So this is something that we can then tailor the experience towards maybe a little bit more. And also, we're in alpha. I mean, we're still in we're really early in development, not as early as we have been. Obviously, that's how time works. But we are pretty early in development. And we still want to give people stuff to do. I mean, the game is not finished. We still are. There's a lot of work that we still need to do with regards to like long-term game loop stuff. And until those things are in the game can feel a little flat. So this is a way for us to offer incentives, offer content for people to go after while they're playing the game in this early period, and in the meantime, get some brownie points. Just a little swag you can show off to your homies and tell them how you're at the top of the leaderboard. Those leaderboard slots too actually do have some value because I have promised the players I will be sending out posters to everybody in the top 10 on those leaderboards, which is a horrifying concept for me because people are kind of all over the place, and sometimes it's hard to send out posters to some places, but we are going to do it. So you will get a poster if you end up in the top 10. And then, maybe some other stuff down the road. Who knows?
I should also add that it's super early, as Ben said, right? So we are now in cycle 2, so it's very, very early. Cycle 2, which we call Ash and Resolve, isn't it?
Ash and Resolve?
Yeah, exactly. So and throughout these different cycles, we add different tasks or quests. We will also do weekly or bi-weekly events. Like we had last cycle, we had this dev hunt where the players had to go out and kill CCP Jotun and need to figure out where in this vast universe he was located and kill him, and they would earn X amount of grace then. But you were killed pretty fast, weren't you?
I was really hoping that stream would last a lot longer than it did. I was anticipating it'd take like half an hour, and they killed me in 4.5 minutes.
Yeah,
they're fucking psychos, man. These players, they absolutely. You tell them that you can kill a dev, and they just. It's like a bloodlust appears in their eyes, and it's just, that's the ball game. You know what I mean? This is what it is. So,
you didn't have like a security escort?
No, I would. Well, listen, my security escort I thought was my own talents. Turns out not nearly sufficient. If we're being honest, it was not quite good enough. But we've done, I think, pretty well to, like I said, in the short term, while we're still developing the game. Content updates come on a production schedule. That production schedule is not, we want to be testing things in the same time, and we don't just. It's not just about adding new systems and seeing how the systems work. In the meantime, we're also doing a lot of economy testing. We're seeing how people interact with the universe, like what goods and services are valuable to players in the game, and how do we build our service or our systems around those goods and services. And not just that. I mean, like, what kind of NPCs do people go after the most? What do we need to change? The spawn rates of certain things. Like how are people interacting with the distribution of things, and we've gotten a ton of great information out of those tests. But when you're doing those tests, you have to be able to every so often say, okay, let's start from 0, let's run it again, see what it looks like, and that's what the cycle system is, kind of like face value. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So again, you touched on economy a little bit there. How does Web3 and blockchain technology kind of play into this? Because obviously EVE Online is a huge game. It's been around forever. This is like the next, I guess, iteration of it that's involving blockchain, right?
So it's really funny because, you know, one of the things we've always kind of shied away from is calling our game a crypto game. And it's not because we don't want to, we're not proud of the technology we're using. We are. I mean, obviously we've been pretty upfront about it. We want people to know what we're doing, but there's a problem that exists in a lot of spaces in this genre, or in our community, where people will create things that are games, but serve really to be very little more than just like speculation engines for people to like do effectively prey on people who are like just not in the know, right? What we want to do is we want to build a CCP Maximum Katz, who's our creative director, doesn't call Frontier a game. He calls it a civilization engine, right? We want to give players, the tools to build a civilization in space from what is effectively ground zero, right? You know, give people the tools to do that. And one of those tools is the ability to build their own economies. I mean, right now, the economy in EVE Online is still functionally owned and operated by CCP. Like if we wanted to step in tomorrow and implement a tax across the entire market, we could do that with very little oversight. It would be very easy. There's nothing stopping us from doing that tomorrow, except player feedback, obviously. But in Frontier, we're effectively taking the reins off of that, right? We're saying, okay, you're going to have the tools you want to make the economies that you want in this game. Okay, we're not going to stop you from, if you want to, you know, create a currency that you know is tied to the fucking price of fish, then my God, you know, that's you know, go with God, King. You know what I mean? That is the freedom we want players to have. The game doesn't work if the game's not fun to play. So obviously our intention is always going to be build a fun game first. But we need to be able to take our hands off the wheel with this thing and let players have that freedom, because that is the thing that gives the game meaning, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead, please.
You know, it's a little bit, you know, when it comes to the kind of the vision that's our CEO CCP Helmar is talking about, the EVE forever, you know, and taking the you know, the knowledge from EVE Online with you know, over 20 years of legacy. And perhaps, you know, the problems or the opportunities that these new technologies will solve. And I mean, you know, we're thinking about EVE forever. You know, the idea here is to, I mean, it's open sourced and using blockchain technology, and the reason why is to create a game that would outlive its creators, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't really do that without kind of having a decentralized place, an open place. Yeah. So it's a very natural thing to do. I mean, Ben mentioned that you can create your own currencies within the game, but the game will have its own dual token system. One in-game currency called Lux, another which is going to be on chain, which is the EVE token. You know, and how the mechanics work, it's you know, it's still a little bit under development, but you should head over to YouTube and under the playlist called FanFest. There is a 45 minutes breakdown of our head of economy, CCP Kalira, who has actually been working at the National Bank of Iceland, who is breaking down the open economy in a pretty detailed manner. So I recommend you to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is a, you know, when CCP Hilmar talks about you know, EVE forever, the idea is that, you know, games become so much more than just a game when you expose other people to them, right? It's not just the ones and zeros that make up the server structure or the, you know, the interactions between different code bases. Like, the game becomes more than just one thing. It's the interactions between player groups. It's the relationships people, you know, find in those games, the friends they make, the families that they find. Like, all of these things have value every bit as much as the game itself. And then if you're able to kill a game by just taking it down, which we could do, like right now, CCP Hilmar could go to the server base in London and, you know, just say, hey, turn the servers off. EVE Online is dead. He could do it right now if he wanted to. He fully has that power to. And what Frontier is, in very, very broad strokes, is a way for us to say, listen, we're going to build this thing. We want it to last forever. That only happens if we are willing to take our hands, like step back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Transition from Web 2 to Web 3.
Exactly. And you know, I think that's becoming more and more important than ever, right? You see a lot of these big developing studios, right? You know, Activision, all these AAA studios that are essentially saying, no, we're not going to support this game that people are still playing, and we're going to shut down the servers. And sorry, you have no way of spinning up your own server, even if you guys still want to play it, which is a shame, right? Like, you know, some people have hundreds of hours, like we're talking years of their life dedicated to one game, and then the publisher can just say, yeah, sorry, yeah, you're out of luck. Come play our new game, no matter what, right? So I love that idea.
It sucks, and the thing about it is like it's so damaging to those communities. Like, obviously, this has been a hot button topic all summer. This is the summer of stop killing games. Like, we're all like the whole industry is aware of that, and there are, I mean, obviously, business concerns with anytime you do this sort of thing. But like the benefit of doing this is that we're basically able to say the game will exist as long as there's somebody who wants to play it, right? It's not, there's not ever going to be a moment where we have to make that decision. That decision will be made by the players of Frontier at some point. You know, we'll get to the point where if nobody wants to play the game anymore, and that's what causes the game to shut down because there's just nobody maintaining, you know, there's nobody maintaining it anymore, then that's fine. That is a good and noble way to die. But dying because somebody in a boardroom somewhere said, the game's not profitable for us anymore, it's tough to be you later. That sucks. That does not feel good. So it's tricky and it's hard. And you know so much of what we do is building around this idea that we want to get to the point where we can do this thing, but there's a lot of steps between now and then. So what I would say to everybody who's coming into this and expecting a lot of these systems to be fleshed out already, this is a long-term project. We're in this thing for the whole. I mean, we've been producing EVE Online for 22 years at this point. Like, I think CCP has long-term vision, certainly, and Frontier is just a way for us to maintain that vision into the future.
And I know, because EVE's been around for so long, that CCP really does take player feedback into it, right? Like the game would not be it without the players. So if there's something not working in the economy, or I guess something's broken, you guys are going to be pretty quick to take that feedback and figure out how to fix it.
Yeah. And that's a big part of our job is to kind of monitor all the socials, get the feedback from the community, and we report these every second week to the executives in detail. So there is not one single feedback that is given in our Discord that is not taken into consideration when we do these reports.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that are being done, changed or altered, improvements of quality of life in the game based upon these feedback. So as I mentioned in the beginning, this is a game that we are not really building ourselves. It's a game that is being built together with the community.
Yeah.
And I think that is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're in this. We're the reason we're doing Founder Access is people who want to be able to invite people into the game who have some kind of stake in the project and who have this sense of ownership over what we're doing. Because the feedback we get from them is, it's invaluable. I mean, we every single day we're going through and we're picking up pieces of oh, we didn't like this, or oh, this isn't working, and that allows us to be so reactive to player feedback at the development stage, not just at like the game maintenance stage, which is super, super cool. I mean, there's stuff being developed right now that's going to go into the game here in the next couple months that is that's like straight up being like came out of the mind of a group of players. Like, hey, this is something that we want. And when enough of them kind of got together and started brainstorming, that's when we step in and we're like, okay, well, this is the interest. Like, it's so dumb to build a game agnostic of your players. Like, you can't be bound by the players because sometimes players have very bad ideas. Frequently, they'll have very, very bad ideas. But like, taken as a whole, the players know what kind of game they want to play. And while you have to be careful with that, it is important to work in those bounds still.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, right? Players don't necessarily understand what goes on the back end, and certain things are just not possible, right? Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
might be a great idea, but we have no way to build that out, or that will break
Yeah.
some other function in the game that you're not even thinking about. So, totally understandable. I've as you guys see it, as a player and as somebody working on the game, there's two sides of it, and a lot of times, unless you're playing both sides, you don't see how everything works and interchanges with each other. Let's shift gears here because I do want to talk a little bit about gameplay because it's such a big portion, and I know we want to have time to dive into tribes, and tribes is going to be a big thing, especially for YGG and all our on-chain guilds, which will essentially be tribes, hopefully within Eve. But first, let's show. I know we've got the first hour introductory tutorial. Now that's about 13 minutes long. Do we want to run that whole 13 minutes, or?
I mean, I think it's pretty good to run. I don't know if we need to do it. I mean, you could probably do it at the end. It'd be a good way to kind of wrap things up because it is valuable information. I definitely recommend anybody who wants to get into the game can.
Well, as a person who is have this new player eyes as I do, that tutorial was kind of make it or break it for me in the beginning. I was chasing down my colleagues at the office, and they were like too busy building the game, so they couldn't hold my hand, right? So I was like, we need to do this new player tutorial guide, and I think it's one of the most played YouTube videos that we have actually. So people need it, so it's a good thing to see. But after that, we also naturally have this tribe setup that we need to show. So if we do that now or if we do it later, it's a little bit up to you guys.
No, I love that idea. We'll wrap up the stream at the end with that trailer because well, not trailer, with that demo right at the end to close out the stream. No, I love that idea. So on that note, then. Jotun, let's talk about tribes then. Let's dive right into it and what tribes are, how they affect the game, and then if you want me to pull up your screen now, I can.
Please do. Go ahead. So tribes are funny. If you're familiar with EVE Online, EVE Online has what are called corporations, and in the lore of EVE Online, that is basically what a player group is, right? The player groups are all corporations, and then larger groups of corporations are called alliances. I have a corporation myself. I have an alliance in EVE Online. Most players do. I mean, everybody does because there's an NPC corporation you get when you first spawn in. Frontier is a little bit different because corporations, there's not really a corporate structure in Frontier because all the systems and governances that may have hosted those corporations and those structures have long since been dead. They've been dead for a long, long time. So Frontier has tribes and syndicates. Though they're not called tribes and syndicates in the game currently, they're still called corporations. That is a work in progress itself. Turns out there are a lot of different references to corporations in the game code. We're still working all of those out. But one of the most important things when people ask us about this game is they say, well, how do I find a group? Obviously, we recommend, I mean, it's easy to do among your friends. It's also easy to do in our Discord. If you go to the Frontier Discord, people are always recruiting. But if you want to form your own tribe in the game right now, it's very simple. It takes a little bit of, just kidding. It takes a little bit of work. Give me 1 second.
So I can take a little bit of a background.
Go ahead, please,
before you kind of get that up. So when you log into the game the first time, you come into this starter system that is called, right? And you need to follow the tutorial within the game, and you come to a point where you kind of have to dismantle your base and go out and explore the universe, basically. And at that point, you need to leave your starter system. If you want to set up a corporation or a tribe for your guild, you need to find a keep, and these are not super abundant in the space.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, so they are keeps are NPC stations. There we go. We're back. NPC space stations. There's an organization in the universe called the Keep. The Keep is think of it like a project that is intended to maintain humanity in the universe, right? The Keep is looking at the Frontier saying, okay, well, the Frontier is basically dead, but we have the option to try and restart civilization. So they have these systems or these stations around the universe where they do their business from. The keep is the thing that wakes you up at the beginning of the game. When they talk about awake and remain awake, it's the keep who's doing the awakening. But you have to find a keep if you want to create a tribe, because you have to be docked up in a keep to do that. So the easiest way to find out where a keep is near you, first of all, you want to open the map. You can do that by pressing M on your keyboard. And what you're going to see, let me change this here real quick to this. This is kind of what you're going to see when you first open up the map.
So what filter do you have?
This is the real color filter. So this is the map of the frontier. Every one of these dots is a star, a solar system that you can travel to. And there are a lot of them. This can look overwhelming because it is. It is crazy overwhelming. I think during the last playtest, the last cycle, players only traveled across like 30% of the map, which is nuts. There are still so many systems that have just never been visited before. But it's cool. So this looks like a lot, but there are filters here at the top of the screen. You can see these up here. If you go to this filter here where it says it's got like a little gear icon, you can go down underneath geography and statistics and look for stations, and it'll change the map. Now you see a bunch of gray stars and these red dots. The red dots are where there are stations in the universe. Now, my good friend Degen here in a moment is probably going to talk to you about some of the mapping tools that our players have already created that will help you get across the universe, because currently it's a little hard to find your way from place to place. But you can click on these little red dots and they will tell you where these stations are. So for example, this one here is in the system of M1061. It's up here. You can see these stars around it. Where I am at over here, there's one station nearby. In fact, coincidentally, it's in the system that I'm in.
Yes.
How convenient is that? But any of these dots you'll see where you are on the map. You'll see a little icon appear over you. This is you are here. And then you'll see the system that you're looking for. Any of these red dots are where there are stations in the universe. So pretending that we've now traveled a long way, and Mr. Degen will talk about this in just a moment, pretending we've now traveled a long way to get here, now we are in a system where there is a keep, right? First thing we need to do is find it. So you're going to press F3 to open up your system map. This is the system map. And you can navigate around the map by center clicking on different things. We'll drag you up through those things. You can, obviously play around with the map with your mouse and keyboard. And then right-clicking over any of these groups of objects will show you things that are in those groups. But we want to get to, in the early video, the first hour video will explain some of this more in detail as well. We want to see where the keep is, and coincidentally, it's right here on top of me. How convenient is that? Yeah, now you're looking for this icon here. It's a flat white square. It'll usually say keep and then some kind of text here next to it. We're going to go ahead and warp over to that keep because we want to get there and go inside of it. Thing is, at some point in the future, you will not need to be docked up to make a corporation or make a tribe. But right now, you need to. It's a carryover from EVE Online. It's not going to be around forever.
And I can mention that when you're leaving the starter system and you're going to travel to one of these keeps, there's a couple of things that you need to consider. You need to have fuel. You need to have me at least. I always make sure that I have a cargo grid lined up, which is actually a little bit more. Well, it's kind of a little bit beyond the in-game tutorial itself, because the in-game tutorial says that you have to dismantle your base at a certain point. I actually go a bit further, so I can get my cargo grid, which gives you a larger cargo space, which I can fill up with fuel, because fuel is super important.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Frontier kind of suffers from a lot of the same things that EVE Online does, which is that it does feel pretty dense coming out straight out the gate. The introductory video that we've been talking about over and over again the last couple minutes is super helpful and kind of taking down some of these walls and kind of working you into it, right? It feels like a lot right now. I can guarantee you it feels like a lot right now. Trust me, I know where you've been. But if you take it in smaller steps, it's not that bad. And once you get into it, there are a lot of really cool systems in here that I think you'll enjoy. But we have arrived at a keep. You can't really see too much of it now because we're behind it. So we're going to get on to the other side where the sun is, so you can see it in a little bit more detail. You can just dock up at any point. Just if you right-click this, you can click dock, or you can just hit E. You'll see the icon here for the station. Keeps, like I said, are just they're NPC stations, so they're not controlled by any one player. You can dock at them freely. They have some services, but there's some things you can't do. You can't manufacture things at a keep. You can't. You can only store a couple ships at a keep at a time. They're mostly just big trading hubs and/or places that you can hide if you're being hunted. So we'll go ahead and dock up here in the keep.
So it keeps like a safe zone in a sense.
It is like a safe zone, yes. If you're inside of a keep, you cannot get killed, which is nice. Now, granted, you can get killed immediately after you leave a keep, but that's a problem for future you, not current you. Now that you're inside the keep here, over here on the left, down in the bottom, this little shapes. Diamond is called the terminal. The terminal is just a lot of different tools you can use to interact with. You have obviously like the cycle hub, where you can see the missions that you've been doing in game currently. Same thing that's on the website is what's in here, obviously, which is super nice. You have things like your character sheet, which will show you information about your character. Not a lot of information right now, but it's the start of it.
That's also where you set your home base.
It is how you set your home base.
Yeah,
you can check your wallet in the Eve vault here through this button down here. See how much Lux you have, how many Eve you have, that sort of thing.
You broke, man.
Yeah, no, I told you, dude, I have no fucking money in this game right now. I need to get back on that grind. Trust me, my normal account, my player account has tons of money. I'm very rich. I'm very wealthy. My dev account is very poor. You can see the market. Obviously, if you want to buy things to fit onto your ship or buy ships, if people are selling them, you can do that here as well. Most people are just building their own stuff, though, so you're not going to see a ton of stuff on the market. But for the purposes of this explanation, let's talk about corporations, or tribes in this case. So the icon that you're looking for is, which one is it? This one here. It looks like a little triangle sitting on top of a kind of a rounded rectangle. You're going to click that, and it'll pull up this information box here. It'll show you what kind of tribe you have. You start out in an NPC tribe, so you'll just see some kind of basic information here. You want to go down here to where it says create new corporation, and clicking that, you have to have some money to do this before you do anything else. You can get money by killing feral NPCs in the game. The feral NPCs drop this item. I can show it to you right here, called feral data. That's what this item here is. Feral data then can be sold at a keep for money, for Lux, the in-game currency, and then you can use that Lux then to create a new corporation. We're going to have some information out about kind of how to set the corporation up. But again, this is also something you can just ask in our Discord, and they'll explain a little bit more detail if you're confused about how it works. But once you have a corporation set up, people can then apply to your corporation or tribe. Again, the names can get confusing, but people can then apply to that group. You can accept them into your group, and now you have a community in game. Once you have a community in game, you'll share a chat channel in game. Obviously, you can share a bunch of different things. You'll be able to set access to certain structures through your tribe. A lot of basic kind of game building elements. There's more of this that is coming soon too. We have, like I said, and the big base building overhaul is coming pretty soon. You'll be able to work kind of collaboratively with other people within your tribe, which is very, very useful and something that we're kind of missing right now, and be able to build up your cities in the stars that way. Mr. G-Gen, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just to mention as well. So if you, as a guild leader, want to set up a tribe, you can invite whatever people you like. They can only they will get the invitation, but they can only join in a keep.
Yes.
So they don't have to travel to the same keep, but I would recommend that because you could kind of set up a base together, in the same system.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to be in a keep to accept. That was something that I, as a new player, didn't understand. So I was like, hey, why am I not joining? Well, you haven't accepted it. Well, I'm trying. You need to go to the keep. Mm-hmm. So that's something to have in mind as well. So everybody needs to go to keep to accept that invitation.
Yep. It is, like I said, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass right now, if I'm being honest, but this is all temporary. We'll be working out smoother systems for this in the future. But for right now, if you're playing during these 10 days, if you want to create a group that you and your homies can play in, that's how you would do it. Just set up go to a keep, go through the create new corporation process. Like I said, we'll probably put some more information out here the next day or two, to just kind of a walkthrough about how that works. I was meaning to make a video that we could play today explaining how that works. I did not do that in time. But we will have it done soon. Oh my God, here's the sun. But yeah, that is like I said, in very brief or very broad strokes, that's how how you do this. And once you've got your group in space, you're also going to get tracked by tribe in space or on our leaderboard as well. There's a separate tribal leaderboard as well as the player leaderboards, and both of those things will earn EVE points as well, which is pretty
excellent. Cool. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be
Sorry, I just stream of consciousness.
No. It's better to have all that info, right? Like we call ourselves the Guild of Guilds when it comes to a lot of things, right? So we have a lot of people. That's why I was more surprised that a lot of our guilds have not set up their tribes yet in game, because there is definitely a lot of them playing. So I guess it's just a matter of them just having a hard time with it, or having a hard time for people to do it. So hopefully this helps. It's actually better that you did it live versus just having a video. I always better. So
and like I said, more than anything else, and one of the things that I pride our community in is how willing and eager people are to share information with people who are not familiar with a lot of the stuff that we're showing you right now is stuff that people who have played EVE for a long time, because Frontier is so similar to EVE in a lot of ways, people just find it comes naturally, right? A lot of the stuff that I'm explaining it's hard for me almost to explain it because I've been doing it for such a long time. But our community has been very, very good about finding people who don't know about how all these systems work, who aren't as familiar with some of the nuances of a game like this, and explaining it to them, walking it through. That is where we really start to shine, and I think it's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the YGG groups interact with our groups, and vice versa. I mean, this is like I said, this is a huge collaborative effort. Every bit of information we get back from players helps. And we're looking for feedback all the time. We have a couple different feedback channels in our Discord. Obviously, you guys can just pass feedback to us directly, generally, preferably not at 3 a.m. Icelandic time, though our players certainly will do that as well, too. It's not something that I'm bitter about. It's totally fine and normal and good. But it's, go ahead.
And now today we started a free trial period, we should mention. So you can set up an account for free. It's going to be from today and 10 days. So it's going to be until the 15th.
Yes.
So the gate's going to be open for free. Everybody can join. No founders access passes is required. And you can, try it out without having to pay anything. But if you decide to upgrade, to a founder, that's when you also will be having the opportunity to earn these EVE points. So if you earn free trial, earn grace during the free trial, and you don't upgrade, you won't get your points. But yeah, you're showing the packs there as well. So it ranges between $39 and $99. Different levels, different skins, packs that is there. And we do have a little bit of a surprise for you guys at the end. So
yes,
there is a.
I unfortunately have to dip out at this point. I'm going to leave you all in the very, very good and capable hands of my friend CCP Dgent. But like I said, all of this is I mean, we're excited because we know that we're still early on in this thing. But even right now, the stories that are getting told in game are all coming from players. We have not done anything yet to make the game narratively interesting in very broad strokes. And at the same time, our players are still able to every single day get in there and tell cool stories, do cool stuff, and really shape what is a universe being built from the ground up. And I think that's super, super cool. So I hope you guys will try it out. I hope you'll enjoy it. And we're here to help every step of the way. Again, outside of 3 a.m. Icelandic time, I have to be very specific about that. It seems to be a problem. But I'm looking forward to seeing you guys enjoy it.
Yes, thanks so much for joining us and walking us through the game. Hopefully it won't be the last time we can have on stream. Maybe we'll do a gameplay stream.
For sure. Yeah, we will. I mean, this is always super fun. I love doing these kind of things. Something here for too long when I've got a little more time. I'd love to sit down and just go through some stuff. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll get that going.
Oh yeah. Have a good one, my friends. Be good, and I'll see you guys around.
I'll stay a couple of minutes. Cool.
Yeah, appreciate it.
See you, Jotun. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's a good guy. I mean, and he loves to talk, and that's great. And he, as I told you, he's a black belt in Evil 9, so it's great to have him on these things. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, again, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Like we were talking about earlier, you guys have been pretty stream heavy, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yes.
Anything else that we should touch on before we play the final trailer and stuff like that? Which obviously you don't need to hang in there for. You've probably seen it a bunch already.
No, but I should mention, you know, the modding aspect of the game as well, right? I mean, if you're a developer, if you're a coder, there's huge opportunities to be a part of and kind of build things on top of the game. We have run a couple of hackathons, and people are building as we speak. I mean, there are even examples of people building dexes within the game. We saw one guy was running Doom actually within the game. You know, and these you know, the blockchain interactions. We have these things that we call smart assemblies, which is, you know, everything from smart gates, it's smart turrets, and smart storage units, and these are programmable. So you can basically, you know, program it. So, for example, in order to access this smart gate, you have to be a part of my guild or my tribe, as an example. Or like one player did, in order to access this smart gate and jump from one system to another, you needed to have the corpses of of one of the enemies. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do, and you know, joining the Discord. It's discord.ggg/efrontier. You have different sections. You have the builder sections, you have the Web3 sections, you have the founder sections. So I recommend you guys to go in there and have a look. And there's a lot of help as well to get there. Me, as I mentioned, you know, I'm also a new player per se. I've been playing for 4 months only. It's a steep learning curve, that's for sure. But people are super friendly, and you know, I saw here in the chat that people are trying to recruit to their tribes as well. So people really want people to join, but I recommend you guys to check it out. I mean, it's free trial. It's now for 10 days,
Yeah, extremely exciting. I'll definitely have to take some time and dive in. Yeah, you can imagine how many different games we have to play here, but Eve's always tickled the itch every now and then. Just like you said, it's so daunting to dive in with Eve Online. At least this one's Frontier is kind of still starting up, so I can get my boots in the ground before everything's flushed out. Which is great.
Yeah. I mean, these cycles and these, you know, they are great opportunities to get your soft skills. I mean, what I learned from cycle 1 have, you know, saved me 2 weeks now in cycle 2. So there's a lot of head starts that you will get being a part of this alpha and being a part of the cycles before we hit mainnet and the 1.0 version.
So let me ask you here before we wrap up. Like,
hello.
So cycles, everything resets cycle, I'm guessing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Starlink must be acting up a little bit. Yeah, so do cycles every time? So like your inventory, everything resets
everything resets. So you kind of, you know, you start from scratch. So everybody gets, you know, it's from clean slates. You need to set up your tribe again. You need to start off again, and we do updates sometimes. You know, each cycle doesn't mean necessarily big updates to the game. We do updates to the mission hub naturally. But once in a while we do larger updates as well to the game, so you cannot always plan what to do next, but it's clean slate for each cycle, and then your grace will be converted into these Eve points that you will have throughout the entire cycle of the cycles, basically leading up to mainnet.
And do we have any idea, like a rough idea when mainnet's coming, like next year, Q4, or?
I mean, it's for me, it's a little bit difficult to say, but I think perhaps end of next year.
Okay, cool.
But you know, but you never know when as a previous CEO of a Web3 company, I know that, you know, building stuff. I mean, it has to be great before you kind of launch, right? So if it's earlier, later, I don't know, but sometime perhaps end of next year. So
that's the current target. Again, the target will move, give or take what happens, but at least people have an idea that that's the given one. Yes. Perfect. Well, Degen, I know we're at the top of the hour, and you've got a lot of stuff going on as well. It's a busy day for you.
And it's my daughter's 6 years birthday, so I have a lot of things on that side as well. So
Excellent. Well, we won't take up any more time here. You're at the top of the hour, and I've got that gameplay video to showcase after. But appreciate you taking the time to not only schedule this, but come on and both you and Jotun to talk about the game. I'm sure, hopefully, we can dive into like an actual gameplay game where we go and hunt or we have some sort of cool mission. But yeah, anything else you want to plug before we hop off here?
No, I just want to say it was a pleasure being here. And it's great. The partnership that we have now with you guys at YGG. It's just been a great partnership. From day one. So I'm very, very happy that we are here now and we are kicking off these things together with you guys.
Yeah. Well, we're also very good friends with Leia and Nathan from Infarsis. I'm sure you're familiar with them. And they've been telling me every time I see them in person or whatever that we should be doing something with Eve. So I'm happy that finally came to fruition. So maybe next time I'm gonna pull Nathan or Leia and we'll see how good they are at the game.
Yeah, you should do that. That sounds like a good idea.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Degen.
Thank you as well. It was great.
Yeah. Cheers. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
So, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, we've got the tutorial, which I will wrap up the stream with here. If you guys haven't already filled out the attendance form, please do. I was not able to set up the calendar thing in our Yield Guild community website there where you can RSVP and get your tacos. So this week, tacos are going to be manually given out. And even more important is those taco points. We're going to be doing our first ever raffle using these taco points to give away 5 of those founder passes that the Eve Frontier team has been so gracious to give us. And the crazy thing is, I was told that this is going to be the Ascended one. So the $100 packs, they're not giving away the Awakened one. They're giving away 5 of these Ascended ones, from what I've been told. So again, going to be a really cool way to be using your taco points out the gate, right? So if you didn't get your taco points last week, you better fill out that form while it's live. I will be closing it when that trailer ends. So if you haven't filled it out, fill it out now. It is pinned in the Discord, and this is an opportunity. Please, though, if you guys are going to sign up for the raffle and use those taco points, be sure you're going to play, right? Like these aren't NFTs where you could trade or resell them. They're for you to have access to the game after the free trial period ends. So right now their free trial period is, I believe, from the 5th to the 15th, so 10 days. And after that, you'll have to have one of these passes to play the game or continue playing the game. And like I said, we've got a lot of community members that really enjoy this game, that love it. And Eve Online has been around forever. So this is a game that's going to stand the test of time, especially now that it's going to be open source. So if you really want to dive your and build up into an MMO that's going to be around forever, this is your hot ticket. This is it, right? So if you guys have questions in the Discord, I will answer them now. And then, like I said, we will wrap up with that 13-minute gameplay tutorial trailer, and then go there. How to add an email in the new YGG website. Guys, if you're already using your Discord to link from your old one, it should just update it. It's not that big a deal. If you don't have it, I believe it's an optional one. I think it's an optional one here. Let me check my form. Just make sure it's an optional one. If you don't fill it out, it's no big deal. Okay? As long as you get your Discord and your Discord ID. Yeah, those are the required ones. That's what I need to give out the taco points. Don't worry so much about your emails. If you have it, great. If you don't worry about it. I just need your Discord and your Discord ID. That's the big important ones, because that's how the new platform distributes these taco points. And like I said, I will be, giving out taco points. So far, only 16 people so far are going to be getting taco points, which is awesome. It's it's for the people that are taking the time to hang out here with us on stream. So shout outs to you. If you guys haven't filled out the form, fill out the form. Let's go. You want those taco points? Like I said, this is the first raffle, and we're using taco points, right? We're thinking of really cool ways to do that. On another really cool note, let me see if I can bring this up here. I've been working on something in the background, and I will showcase this as well. And also, if you didn't know, claiming is open for the final season of GAP season 10. Okay, cool. Streamer mode is on, and I'll share this tab instead. Okay, guys, I've been working on this. If you have a Founders coin, look at that. It's gonna show up here. It's gonna show up right in here in your profile as another item on top of your taco points. It's not going to show up on the side. I'm also working on this for Sword and Shield, and we're not quite sure what benefits these are going to give yet. But I can tell you right now, the first benefit I'm working on is a taco point multiplier. So if you have a Founders token, I'm debating whether or not you're going to get a 1.5 multiplier or a 2x multiplier. And same thing with Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield will be a lot less. But again, it'll be a multiplier to taco points and hopefully other things in the YGG community website. So hope you guys are staying tuned. Like I said, we are finally getting a lot more tools and a lot more freedom on the community team side here. So everybody here on the community team, AC, May, myself, are thinking about the cool ways that we can give you bonuses for people that are OGs that have been participating in YGG for a long time. And that's also going to tie into, let's say your reputation as well. So we've got a lot of things cooking. We know a lot of people were sad about GAP ending, but we're moving to the next iteration. Okay. So be staying tuned for that. Does anybody have any other final closing questions that I can answer for you while we're on stream, while I am on stream before we wrap up with this trailer? Nathan, my man, I'm glad you guys are still tuned in. Is there an Empharsis tribe in EVE Frontiers, Nathan? Where to create an EVE account? That is a great question. And I've got the answer right here. You go to the EVE Frontier website, which is the one that I'm currently showing, and is on screen, and you just sign up for an account. Excellent. Just watching you guys chat. I am going to play that trailer in the meantime, and we will go from there. Okay? Sound good? Sound good? I think it sounds great. Okay. Let me cue that up. We're going to play that. Back.
Initialization complete. Welcome to the frontier. Its volatile expanse stretches before you, untamed, unclaimed, and unforgiving. You start aboard a Wendt-class vessel in a secluded region of space. In order to take on the harsh void of the frontier, you'll need a bigger ship, more firepower, and a refuge to seek shelter. To build these, you will need materials and fuel. Your first task will be scavenging nearby wrecks. Activate your tactical camera by zooming out using the scroll button on your mouse, or by pressing F2 on your keyboard. The tactical camera offers increased situational awareness. Click on a wreck icon to see available options in the selected item window. Now click Approach to move closer. Once in range, select Open Cargo to access its contents. Clicking Loot All transfers everything into your inventory. Repeat this for any nearby wrecks. Resources are scarce on the frontier, and you'll need to scrounge for any scraps you can find to get started. Now it's time to fuel up and get ready to warp. You've gathered your first materials, and now you can start looking for a suitable location for your shelter. Press F3 or click the system camera icon at the top of your interface. This camera reveals locations you can warp to: planets, moons, asteroid fields, and more. Right-click any icon to reveal warp options. Choose a Lagrange point around a cluster of celestials. This will be the location of your first base. Temporary, but vital. Raw ore can be converted to fuel and essential materials, but first it must be refined. Press B to enter build mode, and ensure the core tab is active. Select Portable Refinery. Drag it to your desired location and press E to begin construction. Once finished, repeat the process to build a storage unit. Place them close together for easy access. Interact with your portable refinery to review available refining jobs. One option this structure offers is refining materials into fuel, which powers everything, from warp capability to defensive systems. Let's take a closer look at what keeps your ship running. Your ship's power is governed by two systems: fuel and capacitor. Fuel is stored in the fuel bay. You'll find it at the bottom right of your interface. Your capacitor consumes this fuel when you mine, warp, or fight. Fuel regenerates your capacitor automatically, but only while you have reserves. Always check your reserves before traveling. Those stranded in the void rarely return. It's time to harvest the materials needed to produce more fuel. Press F3 to open the system view. Locate a site marked Carbon Field or Carbon Rock Debris Field. That's where you'll find carbonaceous ore. When you arrive, identify an asteroid and select it, then lock the target. Now load your synthetic mining lens into your cutting laser. Begin mining by pressing 1 or clicking the cutter icon. Watch as ore begins to accumulate in your hold. When your hold fills up, you can turn your mining laser off, press H to warp back to your assets. Welcome back. Time to refine your first load of ore. Select your portable refinery and click Interact. Choose the carbonaceous ore job. Drag the ore from your inventory into the input window. Use the slider to choose how much to refine. Then, click Start. When complete, choose the Deliver option to move the results to your inventory. Now run the D1 fuel job to refine water ice. The process is the same. When the refining process is done, deliver the fuel. You're now self-sufficient in producing fuel. Now, you should expand your base. You'll need more smart deployables to survive on the frontier. Press B to open build mode. Select the Core tab if it's not already active. To continue, gather 50 units each of carbonaceous ore, common ore, and metal-rich ore. You'll find them in carbon fields, asteroid clusters, and metal-rich clusters respectively. Once collected, return to your portable refinery. Use personal assets to quickly navigate to your base. Now, build a refuge and a portable printer. Your base is growing and you now have the ability to manufacture advanced components. Approach the portable printer and click Interact. Scroll through available manufacturing jobs. You'll find a host of useful items: autocannons, mining crystals, shield bullwigs, and more. Locate the Reflex manufacturing job. This is your long-term goal. The Reflex requires 3 key building materials: reinforced alloys, carbonaceous ore, and a Nomad program frame. Store any materials or modules you don't need right now in the portable storage unit. Begin collecting ore, refining materials, and manufacturing the parts needed for the Reflex. To build the Reflex, you'll need a Nomad program frame. This cannot be mined. Instead, you'll have to salvage it from feral drones, dangerous autonomous threats. First, manufacture 1 autocannon and 3 units of AC Gyrojet Ammo 1. When ready, access the refuge and click Use Fitting Service. Drag your mining cutter and crystal to inventory. Fit the autocannon in its place. Load your ammo. Make sure your ship is light and prepared. Unload anything unnecessary into storage. Efficiency is survival. You are now fit to fight. Open the system camera and warp to a site with the feral drone icon, like OSA surveyors. On arrival, switch to tactical camera with F2. Locate your target. Approach the enemy to stay in optimal range. Press 1 or click to fire. If you're taking damage, monitor your structure HP. Use your hull repairer with key 2. All of this requires fuel. Don't let it run dry. Loot any wrecks and find fossilized exotronics. Repeat this process until you have 10 units available.
Every day, millions of people join video calls looking exactly the same as everyone else. Or even worse than being the same,
with the exotronics in your hold, return to base. Use the printer to manufacture the Nomad program frame. Deliver the job when complete. You're now ready to begin construction of the Reflex. Transfer all required materials from storage to your inventory. Now interact with the printer again and install the Reflex job. The build will take time. This is your first proper ship, built by you for the frontier. Construction complete. The Reflex is yours. Deliver the ship. It now appears in your refuge. Right-click the Reflex and select Assemble, then Board. Your Wend is stored in your refuge automatically. You can reboard it should you ever wish. Open the fitting window from the terminal. Take a moment to review your new ship. The Reflex has 2 high slots, 4 mids, 1 low, and 1 engine slot. Manufacture the modules you'll need to fit: engine module, autocannons, and support utilities. Once built, deliver and fit them in the appropriate slots. Refuel your reflex. If needed, return to the carbon fields and manufacture more fuel. We suggest packing 2 mining cutters with crystals. Adaptability can be the key to survival. You can now prepare to leave this system. First, retrieve any valuables from your storage unit. Next, dismantle your deployable structures. Right-click each one and select Dismantle to Cargo Container. Scoop the containers into your inventory. This allows redeployment elsewhere. Everything you've built, refined and fought for, now travels with you. It's time. Open the map from your terminal. Notice the glowing bubble? These are systems within jump range. Right-click a destination. Select Jump via jump drive. This will consume fuel, so make sure your tank is full. Spare reserves are a good idea as well. When ready, initiate your jump. You are no longer tethered. The frontier lies in front of you. What will you make of it?
Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. You can always head over to the Eve Frontier YouTube page or Discord if you need a refresher on it. But yeah, thanks again for everybody who took the time to join us today. Hope that was insightful and exciting. And hopefully I see you guys in the Frontier. Until next week, stay safe and stay cool. Like I said, be very, very careful. There is a ton of scams going on right now, so be extra safe, extra safe. I'm also going to be closing that form as we speak. So if you didn't fill it out, sucks to be you. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next week. Stay tuned and stay frosty. Cheers.